Hey guys, welcome back for another Death Battle reaction, and this time we are reacting to Kratos versus Asura. As you can probably tell, Viz isn't here for me for this reaction. However, they did give me a letter saying exactly why they aren't here. Let me just go ahead and read it what they said. I am not reacting to this dumb, overhyped death battle. This is stupid, and you're not making me watching this. P.S. Also, you owe me money. Alright then. Anyway, so that means I'm just going to be reacting to this video by myself. So, while I won't have the banter as I usually do, I will try and still talk as much as I can so this video isn't just pure silence. So, yeah, I'll try and talk so this video isn't pure silence. So, I'll pause the video whenever there's something I want to say pops up, but I probably won't have that much to say because I have no one to discuss with. But yeah, I'll try my best. Also, for some reason my avatar isn't working. I wasn't expecting that, but I'll see if I can fix it for the next video. But either way, I have nothing else to say, so wait. Oh yeah, I should also say, in terms of who I want to win, I don't have a preference for who I want to win. Because like, originally, I did want Kratos to win, but after watching the Death Battle analysis previews, and after hearing Asura's story, I started liking him more, and after learning more about this matchup as general, I honestly, I don't have a preference for who I want to win. In this situation, either one could win and I would be completely fine. But I do want to say specifically, as a narrative, for narrative reasons, I would like Kratos to win. But as a standpoint of who should, I want Asura, however you say his name, to win. But anyway, I have already stalled enough. So let's just get right into this video.
Kratos versus Asura.
The Ghost of Sparta versus the Wrathful Destructor. Cause sometimes you just want to punch a god in the face. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Alright, let's do this.
In the beginning, the Primordials waged war across.
All official material related to the character is applied to analysis unless found contradictory to primary source material. Certain alternate media, A, B is for boy, and creator statements are only applicable as far as they are supported by primary sources. Got it.
Existence, a series of
Oh yeah, I'm also going to be reading the black boxes in the top because I don't usually do that, but since I'm not here by myself, I want to at least have some talking in the video so that I can at least have some commentary to the video.
Cosmic clashes that birthed the universe.
Boom! Now that's what I call a big bang.
From Ceto's death, the oceans would flow. From Uranus's strikes, the stars were spawned, and so forth. Thus, the world itself was born from violence.
Another thing I should say is that I know nothing about either game series. I never even heard of Asura until I learned about this matchup. And as for Kratos, I didn't know who he was, but I never really been that into the God of War games. But I did know that Kratos is stronger in the lore than compared to how he's shown in gameplay.
Starting a whole messy cycle. Uranus was overthrown by his Titan son, Kronos, who was overthrown by his Olympian son, Zeus, who battled his own son, Kratos.
Dang it.
As a classic bastard child of Zeus, Kratos was left among Spartan mortals, far exceeding all among him. He became a fierce warrior, winning many a battle, until finally cornered by ruthless barbarians.
Ares, destroy these guys who are kicking my ass, and my life is yours. A deal was made, and Kratos was joined at the bone with the blade.
I quote that stupid Ares meme almost every time I get Ares. Alright.
Blades of Chaos, a set of chain swords, and basically a badass whirlwind of flame and steel.
But Ares had a scheme. While doing work for his god, Kratos accidentally murdered his own family, permanently marked by the ashes of his wife and daughter. He was, forevermore, the ghost of Sparta.
I'm not going to try and pause too much, but I do want to say that I love how in the God of War games, there's just a abandon your child quick time event. That's hilarious.
So, he was kinda understandably really pissed off. Time for a new God of War. The gods were crapping their togas in fear as the new God of War took out his rage on all of them. And got some new gear out of it too.
Oh yeah,
With
he
Poseidon's
did.
trident
He
and Icarus's wings,
did
Kratos
those gods
dominated both sea
diabolical.
and sky. He also has a tendency to carry powerful severed heads, like Medusa's.
And the claws of Hades could steal souls, even the soul of Hades himself. Should have thought that one through, man.
Neither Perseus or Hercules were a match for Kratos, nor was Helios, the sun god capable of moving stars and spreading light across the entire underworld.
He fought Atlas, the Titan of Strength, who broke the load-bearing pillar of the universe. So Kratos forced him to hold up the cosmos on his own instead.
And he could do it with just one hand, according to the novelization.
Even his grandpappy Kronos failed to stop him. You know, the guy who overthrew the primordial that punched the universe into existence?
Causing shockwaves that moved over a quadrillion times faster than light.
For context, Kronos was in a weakened state when Kratos fought him. And technically, he killed Kratos when he was eaten by them and cutting his way out. So, I just want to put that out there.
A frankly incomprehensible feat,
Then there's Daddy Zeus.
who proved a serious challenge, until Kratos drew perhaps his ultimate weapon, the Blade of Olympus.
It can make tornadoes, lightning, force fields. Oh, and it can stab the hell out of you. It siphons godly energy and can pull enough to even kill Zeus. Like father, like son.
Kratos regained the Blade of Olympus in God of War Valhalla and was able to summon it afterwards. Mir described it as a memory of your past made manifest, so he can summon it to his hand whenever he wants.
Even while Kratos ultimately released hope across the Greek world, he could only do so after annihilating everything.
Like a badass, he was unstoppable. Non-stop killing and sex and even more killing. And yet, he couldn't be any more depressed.
His wife and daughter were still gone. What was he to do?
He didn't know. He wandered aimlessly for years, somehow stumbling into Norse mythology where he met Faye, his second wife. Good start, buddy.
Kratos had a new
Something I find interesting about God of War is that, like, the different mythologies, like Greek and North, like, at least from my understanding, how it is that it's like they're their own separate worlds, but whenever one is created, it's added on to the already existing one. So while the Greek gods created the Greek mythos and the North gods created the North mythos, they both exist on the same plane, because whenever a new one is created, it is added on to the already existing plane. At least that's how I understand it.
lease on life, but he could not escape his past mistakes.
There's a reason he hid his swords in a dingy basement. Even so, Faye insisted he could do better. So he became a dad to a new boy.
Easily the toughest
Boy.
task he ever undertook, especially after Faye unfortunately died of a mysterious illness.
Damn it, not again! But hey, it wasn't Kratos' fault this time, and Faye left the tools he'd need to keep the boy safe, including the Leviathan Axe.
Far from the whirling rage of the Blades of Chaos, the Leviathan Axe was deliberate and mighty, said to rival Mjolnir itself.
I mean, it does behave like Mjolnir, coming back to him whenever he throws it, except I'm pretty sure anyone can wield it.
Or wishes Mjolnir was as cool as this axe. It's imbued with ice magic and a poison even the gods fear. It can be summoned to Kratos' hand from a distance, and it even shatters souls.
Kratos may have once been a sword of vengeance, but with his new weapons and a new purpose, he stood as a shield against the godly Asir.
Too bad he just can't help but get in trouble with gods. But now he knew how to control his anger.
Which is even more important than it sounds. Kratos' Spartan rage summons an inner strength with magical properties.
He can even get so pissed off that he straight up heals himself. That seems like...
Yeah, as in he does get stronger when he's more angry, but he loses less control.
the opposite of what should happen.
Not all anger is problematic, and Kratos wields plenty of new weapons and relics to channel his rage through.
Like the Dropnir Ring, which can summon a bunch of wind spears. They can absorb all types of energy and blast it back. He even has relics and magic that can warp space and slow down time.
Naturally, he contested with the strongest of the Norse gods, including the god of thunder Thor, who was powerful enough to fight the fire giant Surtur and the world serpent Jormungandr at the same time.
Oh, and that fire giant...
Like hurting the world serpent so hard that it sent it back in time is crazy.
And would be the cause of actual Ragnarok. You can't defeat me, Thor. I know, but he can.
Well, not exactly. Freyr, the rain god, held off Ragnarok for a considerable time on his own, and the sheer power of Ragnarok shook Yggdrasil down to its very roots.
That's the World Tree, which is like a literal tree that connects the whole universe.
According to Freya, the tree's very existence supports all of creation among its boughs. Every strand transcending time, transcending space. Everything comes back to the tree.
So it's kind of like Kratos lives in a really, really, really big treehouse.
In his quest
In a
to
way.
free the Norse world, Kratos reclaimed old weapons by reckoning with his past sins, even taking up the Blade of Olympus once again.
Even better, he actually got to be a decent dad. And now the boy is a man and also a bear.
Kratos made a life
But yeah, Kratos, dude. I may not have gotten into the God of War games, but I do really love Kratos as a character, dude. He's the same reason I got into Asura. It's like your anger doesn't define you. You can use your anger as strength, but that doesn't inherently mean that it's bad.
time of mistakes. But this future would be different. He'd be more than he was in the past. Not just a god of war, but a leader, a father, and a defender. A god of hope.
Alright, Asura.
Long ago, a demigod fell from the heavens, only to rise from the depths of Naraka after 12,000 years.
After 12,000 years, he's free to punch everything dumb enough to get in his way. He was the demigod of wrath, Asura.
Alongside 7 other demigod generals, Asura served as defender of humanity against the impure Goma, dark spirit monsters infesting the world.
And the demigods battled the Goma by wielding a mystic energy formed from human prayer, mantra.
By advancing technology with mantra, the Guardian Generals became
Also, I didn't find out till recently that Asura is part robot. Because, like, his arms are mechanical. I didn't know that, and I find that interesting.
essentially hyper-powerful mystic cyborgs. They could each harness mantra through a different emotional affinity. For August, it was greed. For Yasha, it was melancholy.
I'll give you one chance to guess what Asura's is.
By tapping into his wrath, Asura can take many forms for battle, like the 6-armed Vajra, a state powerful enough to subdue the embodiment of the planet's will and the source of the Goma, Vlitra.
But he wasn't angry enough to put Goma Vlitra down for good. At least not yet. Of course, since he's literally powered by wrath, no enemy of Asura's would be stupid enough to do something that would make him even more mad, right? Right?
Funny you should say that.
God damn it.
First off, Asura is not some one-dimensional anger machine. In myth, the Asuras were powerful and aggressive beings, sure, but not inherently evil, just like Asura himself. He's a warrior, but also a husband with a daughter, Mithra,
And Mithra has the unique power to supercharge mantra energy.
which gave Asura's prideful commander, Deus, an idea. If he could weaponize Mithra, literally wiring her up to a super weapon, the Guardian Generals could maybe finally end Goma Vlitra for good.
Well, obviously Asura wasn't gonna go along with that. So Deus framed Asura for killing the Emperor, murdered his wife, kidnapped Mithra, and then just straight up killed him. What a dick.
But true to
Can these stories ever go right?
his nature, Asura was literally too angry to die. So long as a single part of his body remains and can possess mantra, he can climb back out of Naraka, a sort of limbo underworld between life and death. Thanks to some coaxing from a strange golden spider, he did just that, with an all-new purpose in mind.
Make the gods pay! Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna talk about it, but from what I learned, that whenever he climbs that pillar to get out of, well, whatever the afterlife is for him, is that the window between resurrections gets shorter and shorter. Like, the first time it took maybe 1,000 years, then the second time about 500, and the second time about 100 years, and to the point where he can do it pretty much instantly, which is really cool.
Yeah, they're calling themselves gods now. Turns out they're all assholes who started sacrificing thousands of innocent people to try to power up. So Asura got really pissed off.
And through his rage, Asura's power exploded.
I find it funny that the embodiment of wrath, or whatever Asura is supposed to be, is literally the most humble person out of all of them. Think about that.
Rising enough to throw giants like ragdolls, shatter whole moons, and destroy a fellow deity, Wizen.
Who could dwarf the planet and wreck it with just a finger. Look at this.
Asura
And he
is so
did that in
powerful, his soul cannot be manipulated
And he
by
did
the
that in his
Goma or
base
the
form.
deities. He can propel himself with mantra to fly, harden his fists to break steel, fire explosive energy blasts.
And headbutt you so hard you wish you could die even faster. The dude literally stockpiles anger into a burst of energy that can one-shot even the toughest of foes. And when he goes unlimited mode, he can rapid-fire those super attacks without overheating.
This is
Asura's vengeance
actually
quest
making me
wasn't all
want to play this
shouting
game
and
now.
explosions, though. I mean, it was a lot of that, but he also tried to protect people from the gods, including a girl who very much reminded him of his own daughter.
Yeah, Asura's the kind of guy who wants to be a great dad, but all he knows how to do is punch anything that upsets his kid. Like that one dad that knocks out a ref at a Little League game.
And then the gods killed that girl too, along with her whole village.
Wow.
Sparking Asura to unleash his berserker aura.
You know how the gods were sacrificing thousands of people to power up? Well, Asura got so
Can nothing go right for Asura, dude?
freaking angry, he built up enough mantra to match them, even though they've been building up energy for thousands of years. Seriously, guys, you're pissing off the guy who literally gets more powerful the angrier he gets. What did you think was gonna happen?
Yet even in berserker mode, Asura never lost total control.
Berserker Asura adds even more extra arms, and they're big and glowy now. The man can launch so much angry mantra he wiped out the god's whole space fleet in seconds.
Asura's anger raised to levels so high even he couldn't contain it.
I like how I find it interesting that this is a mix of mythology plus sci-fi, which is really cool.
Scorching him into his wrath form.
Even though it hurts Asura while he's in it, this form is still perfect for absolutely shit-stomping a snobby demigod's face in. It's okay though, his brother-in-law punched the edge out of him.
Yasha saw the error of the deity's senseless sacrifices and teamed up with Asura for a coup against Deus.
Awesome, they're bros again! Just in time for Asura to hit his former boss with so much mantra that he burst, then dive into the planet's core to obtain power equal to 1,000 arms! His mantra form! Finally, a power capable of killing Vlitra in a big planet-busting blast!
That
Deus
is
was
awesome.
defeated, and Gaia was saved. Yet, Asura's wrath hadn't been quelled.
Title drop!
It turns out that spider that guided him was actually Chakravartin, the creator of mantra and the entire universe.
And everyone's suffering was part of his plan to make Asura his heir. Chakra kidnapped Mithra, because of course he did, and tested Asura in the form of a massive golden Buddha statue. Check out the size of it! That thing can literally hold a galaxy in its palm.
So this entire time, it was just to make Asura his heir? Really?
Naturally, Asura and the statue threw hands.
Enter the mantra reactor. Capable of holding 7 trillion souls, Asura instead used it as a vessel for a far greater power.
His own unfiltered rage. At last, Asura could show the world his real colors.
Everyone from the humans to the 7 deities to Chakravartin saw Asura's anger as a weapon, a sword for tyranny, when that was never who he was. His rage was really a shield to protect humanity, and most of all, his daughter.
A shield larger than a planet, unbound by his past limits.
Again, weaponizing anger for the greater good. I I am actually getting invested in this game, dude.
Asura's ultimate destructor form effortlessly punched through asteroids larger than nebulas, dodged planet-sized lasers moving 2 quadrillion times faster than light, and obliterated whole stars.
Chakravartin was understandably impressed and offered Asura a chance to take his place. Asura smiled at the offer and extended his arm.
Right into Chakra's face, as if he was gonna let some god trample over more worlds. Instead, he literally beat the QTEs out of God, obliterating him and his plans in a cosmic explosion.
But with Chakravartin
Literally,
dead, so was the
literally-
concept of mantra
Literally killed the
itself.
creator of the universe.
Those who depended on it could not survive, including Asura.
Hey, as long as Mithra was fine, it was worth it. Besides, he'll reincarnate millions of years later, still kicking ass, ready to smack a random thug, a meteor, or Ryu, right in the balls.
It's interesting. Despite the
Oh yeah, I forgot that Asura canonically fought whatever the main villain of Street Fighter is called for 500 years. At least that's what I've heard.
dangers of uncontrolled anger, Asura's wrath gave him the power to save everything, all because of just one thing.
Some bastard made his daughter cry, so they had to pay. Now that's a god I can get behind.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a dad battle!
Alright, final thoughts? I'm actually kind of leaning towards Asura. Like, what I said in the beginning still stands. Narratively, it makes sense for Kratos to win, but who I think should win is Asura. But again, if either or wins, I'm fine with it, because both statements of who should and who should narratively win will be fulfilled, so yeah. Anyway, also, this one is going to be a hefty one because from what I remember, Devil Artemis is the animator for this one, and he said this is going to be the longest death battle to date. 9 minutes of animation. I am excited for this. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. Was not expecting this. I thought they were gonna fight at the house, but seems he teleported him here.
It's true then. The god of war is on Gaia. But not for long. You do not want this fight. Run!
Starting strong, I see. It attacked him before he could retrieve his axe. That's sick. Hey, reference. The quick time events, dude. that's funny because if I remember, I think Asura has a lot of quick time events, at least to my knowledge, and in the final boss, the final boss takes your own quick time events, forcing you to play as the final boss so that you hurt yourself. That's funny. Asura is definitely way too fast for Kratos.
You let your wrath consume you. I have been down that road before. Shut up! Very well.
I am loving every bit of this. I love that line.
This is not my end!
That is sick. Hey, it's the thing from Courage versus Scooby versus Courage. I know, it was a reference to Asura.
Death has not earned me yet, Titan! But you deserve a worthy end!
This is majestic. That's all I could say. Wait.
You are a monster no longer.
Is that it?
I never was.
I'm not surprised. Part of me knew Kratos was going to win. But again, I definitely feel that Asura should have won, but let's see their reasoning.
Well, I guess Asura's wrath really is gone. But are we sure this is how it'd go? Even though Asura can blow up stars?
Asura had some amazing displays of apocalyptic destruction, but the full scope of their speed, experience, versatility, and power sheds a surprising light.
At first glance, speed seems like a shoo-in for Asura. Kratos is quick, but he never dodged a universe-crossing laser.
That doesn't mean he couldn't. Remember, as usual, we look at these characters at their peak, free from gameplay restrictions.
Yeah, we're looking at everything in canon, and Kratos fought and killed Helios, the sun god.
From the moment he's introduced, Helios is emphasized to be immensely powerful. Without Helios, darkness would shroud everything. His light was fast enough to illuminate the
Kratos directly defeated Atlas in combat, who had just recently captured Helios, further supporting the notion that Kratos outsped Helios.
entire underworld while Kratos sailed through it, taking a few hours at most.
So, kinda hard to quantify, but that's consistent with the shockwaves the primordials caused that spawned the universe.
Arguments could be made for which is faster, the
If Asura were to destroy the planet Kratos was on, he could survive in outer space as shown in his battle with Ares. This event is further sustained as a non-illusionary in God of War 2 and its novelization.
primordial shockwaves or Chakravartin's intergalactic lasers. Since it's so close, it's safest to assume their speeds are generally even.
But what does speed matter if you don't know how to use it? Let's cover experience. Asura lived across centuries, obviously a lot longer than Kratos.
And while Kratos eventually learned to control his rage, Asura pretty much always had that control.
So Asura easily takes experience. But when it comes to versatility, he couldn't match all the weapons and abilities Kratos had.
Sure, Asura's quite skilled and a monster at martial arts, but his fighting style mostly relies on one thing.
A whole lot of punching.
Kratos' weapons,
Yeah.
magic, runes, relics, and even
Kratos
his
definitely had the advantage with many weapons that could attack from a distance. Kratos' time-slowing powers would enable a safer approach, gaining significant edge. Name I can't pronounce. His own time manipulation affected Asura, indicating a vulnerability.
rage gave him far more options in combat, slowing down time, healing injuries, and most importantly, multiple weapons that could drain a variety of energies, like mantra.
Yeah, when Asura loses all his mantra energy, that's it for him. So the Dropnir spears and the Blade of Olympus gave
In God of War Ascension, Hades and his warriors empower themselves with souls represented as green orbs. The Blade of Olympus drained Kratos of his green orbs in God of War 2, supporting the notion that it can absorb mantra, a similar form of spiritual energy.
Kratos exactly what he needed. Versatility. And multiple ways to finish this for good before Asura just comes crawling back out of the underworld.
If he could, Asura's resurrections take years or whole centuries, days at best.
But all this assumes Kratos could match Asura's crazy strength. All roads lead to power, which should go
In the manga, Asura's rage is so immense that he's able to survive without his core and outpace Desu's absorption method, regenerating immediately. Kratos' multiple sources of absorption can drain being stronger than Asura's, suggesting Asura would eventually succumb. Keeping his body parts separate is also a viable counter in that continuity, which Kratos should be capable of.
to Asura, right? Look at what he can do! If this came down to who made the bigger kaboom, he'd kick Kratos' ass in 2 seconds!
But a closer examination of their feats reveals the truth.
At his peak, Asura overpowered Chakravartin, annihilating that cosmic golden god!
By measuring the dimensions of Chakravartin's body and scaling it up to match the size of this galaxy-eclipsing statue, we can determine its volume. Add in the density of gold, for good measure assuming the form is solid throughout, and its mass far exceeds not just our galaxy, but our entire observable universe.
Destroying that big golden god would need energy on par with obliterating our universe 91,000 times!
Extremely impressive and unfathomable.
Jesus.
However, the same idea applies to Ragnarok shaking the roots of Yggdrasil.
Ragnarok is obviously a bit of a different beast than Kratos, but what really matters is what Freyr did.
Right, Freyr, a god comparable to Kratos, held back Ragnarok's power for a significant time.
So Kratos should be capable of the same level of power, or even more.
Using an official map and knowing the world tree's branches encompass all of existence, we can measure its size and volume.
And we know this map is accurate because it shows these two realms conjoined, which we see in game.
Even if we assume the Tree of the Realms is only 1% solid, a significant lowball that Kratos should easily scale above, shaking such an incomprehensibly large structure would require enough force to destroy.
Throughout the game, Kratos directly interacts with the, I'm gonna assume, tree and collects dew from its branches. In Norse myth, name I can't pronounce, is generally considered an ash tree. However, God of War cookbook in the 9 realms describes it as a yew tree, which is slightly less dense than ash.
The Tree of the Realms is only 1% solid, a significant lowball that Kratos should easily scale above. Shaking such an incomprehensibly large structure would require enough force to destroy our universe's mass energy 9 million times over.
That's almost 100 times greater than Chakravartin's destruction. And this isn't some one-off outlier. I mean, a realm-shattering supergiant doesn't sound too different from the other Titans and Olympians Kratos defeated.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's easy to think that we never see Kratos do anything that matches Asura, but we do. Helios' speed matches Chakravartin, and Kratos outsped him. Atlas is strong enough to lift all of reality, and Kratos overpowered him. Kronos defeated the creator of the universe in a one-on-one fight, same as Asura, and Kratos killed Kronos. Add in the clear numerical
But he was in a weakened state at that point, so I don't know.
comparison of Chakravartin, Ragnarok, and Yggdrasil, and Kratos takes the edge in power.
But hey, Capcom, if you give us Asura's Wrath 2, we'll try this again.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Asura's the sun.
Wait, are they serious? Like, would they actually do this again if they make an Azor's Wrath 2? If so, that's funny.
Rises. The god of
I mean,
wrath
sick.
was Kratos.
The winner is Kratos.
Not surprised, but I don't know. Like, I'm not, like, upset. I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like Azura probably should have won, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, again, as I said, narratively, it makes sense for Kratos to win. As for who I think should win, Azura. So, either or, I won't say that I'm not satisfied. But anyway.
But what if?
Wait, what? No way. They did an alternate ending. The quick time event. They did both endings.
And that concludes my pitch for Asura's Wrath 2. The end.
Okay, I take back what I said. I am definitely satisfied. Alright, the next time.
Next time on Death Battle.
Ghost Rider versus Spawn.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, so yeah, that was Kratos versus Asura. I pretty much got out all my thoughts other than amazing animation, and definitely gonna have to rewatch this to fully soak in the death battle. But other than that, that's pretty much it for me. I would have liked to react to this with Viz, but again, they were busy, so solo reaction this time. Anyway, I've been Slime Dragon. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.